Well, mate, just started from there. It's fucking. My guests are used to this. Just started from there.
I've watched a few of them now. I know what to expect.
So today we have on. I call you Matty Valets.
Matty Valets.
It's Matt McCartney. Do you know what? Someone asked me your name the other day.
I still get my coaching pack sent as Matty
Valets. Yeah, Matty Valets.
Makes you laugh every time.
Matty Valets. That's who you are to me. Someone asked me your name, and I was like, fucking can't think of his surname. Matt McCartney. Mate, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
First time you ever spoke about anything like this, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said to you before, I felt sound coming onto it, and then woke up this morning and my dad was like, this is the first time I've spoken about your life. I was like,
should have got him in the middle, like a mediator.
Me confidence, get me dad
Neil,
in
you should
the
have come on
as well.
If you listen to this, you should have been here, like a mediator in the middle.
Big Mac will listen to it. I don't think my mum will, to be honest. I don't think she wants to.
She'll be too busy making you food, lad, that's
probably,
why. She'll be too busy looking after you.
Making me 6 meals a day.
Well, no, mate, it's... I'm glad that you've come on. To be honest, I've talked about the idea before because you have spoke to me a little bit about it in the gym and in passing. But one thing, you just made such a good comment off camera. You was like, I thought you'd wanted someone with a bit more interesting story. But your story is like, when you break it down,
it probably is mega interesting to some people.
0.1% of people, probably less, have ever been through what you've been through. I mean, the injury, the stuff that we'll get into later on, the heavy stuff.
I don't think people expect that either, just because not really something you say, is it? Oh, I'm Matt, and by the way, I've been through this. Like, you know what I mean? You don't, like, no, it's not.
So where do you want to start from? So obviously we've got in. Don't look at the notes.
It's what? Sorry.
Don't look at the notes.
No.
Because everyone thinks I've got notes, so don't look professional now. Can we start this again? Like we said, can we fucking pause it?
No, you can edit that bit out, can't you?
But of course, come here.
You can edit that a little bit out anyway, can't you?
Yeah, you'll edit this bit out, mate, no problem.
I feel like it's a good start.
Yeah. That's the best thing, look, because I've had it before where I've had people on and it feels like an interview. I can't be asked for that. I'd rather it just fucking flow and go into stuff. Yeah. So I ask you a question now, like, has it always been cleaning cars that you've wanted to do, or since you was a kid?
Are we filming now, or do you want me to answer that?
Now? Oh yeah, we're still going. Edit that bit out, fucking hell.
Do you want to start with the business stuff, or do you want to end on that?
No, we'll go. So do you know what one thing is, obviously you have
just let it flow.
You're fucking smashing it now, mate. But like when you was obviously at the beginning of everything, I don't want to say going wrong, but when you was going through like the hard parts, like what was you doing? Like work wise, life wise, like where was you?
So I wasn't really working. So obviously I'd done the 3 seasons in Ibiza, didn't I? Came back from that. When was my last season? 2016. And as we'll get into, it's just easy to get like wrapped up into things you shouldn't really be doing. Like anyone that's ever lived in Ibiza fully understand that. You don't go to aim to do the things you do, but you just end up doing it because it's what everyone wants and what everyone does, and you know people coming over and you just end up selling things you shouldn't be doing.
So do you think that's why you stayed over there, because you didn't have a lot going on here, or is it just like the lifestyle kind of?
I loved it as well, mate. Like honestly, despite all the shit that went on, it's the best time of my life, and a lot of my mates that I made over there never knew who they were before, still my closest mates to date, like, and obviously some of them had to cut off and never speak to again and just forget they exist, which is as harsh as that sounds. It had to be done. But I was at uni before I went to Ibiza, so like finished uni. Just in between my second and third season, I went on holiday to Ibiza for 3 weeks. And
so how old would you have been? 2016?
21. 2016, sorry, I was 21 when I went over, so 2016 I would have been 2 years on, 23, 24.
Sound.
So I finished uni, and then when I went on that holiday, I was like, this is I got a taste of it, and I was like, this is mega. This, like, because one of my best mates, he was over there in 2013, that's who I went to see and stayed with him for 3 weeks. So I lived like as a worker basically, even though I was on holiday, and he just like something else, mate.
Different world.
Out partying every night. You got dead nice beaches to go to. It is just a non-stop party. So if you're not about that life at all, I would highly recommend not stepping foot on the island. But
with you, because obviously I know you probably better than like most people now, like, because obviously we speak about stuff like this, but with you I can see it, whereas like with me I couldn't think of anything like fucking worse, like going out. Maybe when I was younger actually I could see myself going out on the session, but so when you was over there, because obviously I'm just going to throw you straight into this, mate, what went on with this injury?
So
how long had you been there by then when this happened?
7 weeks into my first season. So yeah, it was.
I thought it might have been like your second season, like you'd been there a bit. Can't believe you went back after that.
I went. Yeah, my mum and dad really didn't want me to go back, but they seen how much I loved it, and then they obviously when I had me, I'll explain that a little bit in a minute. But when I'd done the injury, it was 7 weeks in. I think it was the 11th of July I'd done it.
Yeah,
and I'd done it cliff jumping. I don't know if I've ever actually told you how it all happened. But
you told me you told me what you've just told me. It was like it's cliff jumping, but that's as far into it as you got.
Yeah, so like I said before, I met a lot of mates over there, and the accommodation we lived in, it was like basically like uni halls.
Yeah.
But in the sun with a swimming pool in between. So one side was non-aircon, the other side was aircon, and they all faced each other. So there's probably like 300-400 workers living in the same place. So you get to meet a lot of people very quickly. So made a lot of very good mates, and we all wanted to do cliff jumping one day. I'd done it the year before, so I knew where to go. There's like a little 20-30 foot one. And we'd done that a couple of times. I was like, come on, there's a big one round the corner. And everyone that's worked in IB4 or goes to IB4, it's called the 80 foot. I don't think anyone's ever actually took a tape measure and measured it, like, but it's referred to as the 80 foot cliff. Like, and there's about 25-30 of us went to do it. And me and my mate were the first to jump in. And be like, even though we were living in IB for dickheads partying all the time, but we had a little sensible chat, like, right, when we jump, we need to land like this, like hit the water like a pencil, so you go straight through, and I just flapped it and jumped off, like, but yeah, hit the water like I'm sat down now, and they said from that height it's like hitting concrete, so it compressed my spine and broke my back in 6 places. From hitting the water. I didn't hit a rock or anything. Like, it
is mad that though, like the amount of stuff, I've heard loads of stories like, mate, where people have hit the water and like they fucking like...
Yeah. You don't realise how bad it is, but yeah, it's pretty bad,
mate,
to be honest.
Like when I know this is like, I shouldn't even be attempting to relate this to your injury, but it's like when you belly flop in a pool, lad.
Yeah, you feel
it kills.
It just
so like,
slaps.
From 80 foot, mate, like I can't even imagine the pain, because like I jump in a pool and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that stings.
Big chest that though, man, and it's sticking out like so.
That stings, fucking hell. Well, mate, I've got so many... If these are like questions where you're like, mate, I can't have an answer, then just let me know. So you've hit the water.
Yeah.
Sounds so forward this. How did you survive there? Because obviously you can't...
I've hit the water like this.
You can't move, can you?
No, and I
move.
like screamed as I hit the water, you know, like an outlet of like pain, obviously. And then I came back up to the surface pretty quickly, because I've hit the water like with my arse. I've not pierced the water or nothing. And then I come up, and my mate Dylan, he was like, it felt like it took him another minute to come back up, you know, because he's hit the water properly and he's gone right under. And I felt winded, and like my legs were dead, like really bad pins and needles. And I just looked at him, I was like, get me to the side, like I couldn't breathe or nothing. But I was actually all right. I didn't ever think like, oh, I broke my back here or anything. I just thought I was winded. But where we jumped, it's just like a sheer cliff edge. There's no like beach or nothing. To get out, you have to like swim quite far and come out, or climb back up the cliff. And Dylan pulled me to the side, and like I held onto a rock, and he was like, right, I need to get help. And he's climbed back up the cliff we've just jumped off. The next thing, another lad's jumped in to be with me. I'm like, what is going on here? But quite lucky really. It was like a little boat coming past with a Spanish family on it, and they could see me in the water, and all my mates at the top of the cliff were like shouting the boat over.
So how long was you in the water for?
Probably a few minutes before this boat come past, yeah. But like I said, I think it like bit of shock had took over me, because I knew I'd done something, but I didn't think
Could you move at all?
Yeah, I could move my arms and all that. Like, and Dylan was like pulling me to the side, and like I could feel my legs, but you know when you get like really severe like pins and needles, so your legs
legs are dead, like numb.
But I never thought like I broke my back or nothing. And then this boat like threw, you know, like the little orange floaty rings they threw that on and pulled me in, and then I even pulled myself up onto the boat. Like, it was only a little boat, pulled myself up, sat down on the boat, and then the other lad that had jumped off was with me on the boat. And then that Spanish family, I could see the worry on their faces, because obviously breaking your back's probably quite a common injury, and I'm guessing they maybe lived there.
You've probably seen it a few times.
I don't know, but then they took me to the harbour, and as soon as I got to the harbour, there's ambulances everywhere and like police and all sorts. Like, so they obviously knew something wasn't right. And then that's when I started to go into the shock and think, oh shit, I've actually done something pretty bad here, because I was lying down on the boat, and I remember trying to sit up, and I couldn't move. Like, I couldn't really move my legs or nothing. I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, that's when I started to go into the shock. Like, the ambulance had come on. the paramedics have come on, sorry, and like, you know, the board they put you on and like strap me neck in and everything. I was like, shit. I started so like, and then my chest was like going mad, you know, because like breathing, I couldn't breathe properly and all that. And then,
so you're in a state of panic as well, aren't you?
Yeah,
like,
I think
unknown people, unknown place, that's just happened.
Didn't really speak English. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it was actually a police officer that calmed me down in the end. I was like, I never ever thought I'd say that in my life, for the life I was living over there. But it was actually like a police officer that came over and went out of his way to like calm me down and chill me out. But yeah, by the time the boat got to the harbour, all my mates had managed to walk back to there, and one of the girls was like, because I think I'm sure a couple of them were crying and stuff because they see me getting put on this board and like neck brace and everything, and then thrown straight into the back of the ambulance. But they just smacked me up with morphine straight away in the ambulance. So I was starting to like, I was going a bit weird, to be honest. Didn't really know what was going on. And then I got to the hospital, was straight into intensive care, and I don't really like know the full detail because they just smacked me up with morphine straight away. There's like probably little bits I've missed, but yeah, the nurse came over to me and was like, you broke your back, need operation, like in broken English. And my mate that was with me, I started going mad. He was trying to get out of bed. I was like, no, you just want me insurance money. I've not broken me back and all. And it's like, and they had to like strap me to the bed. I was like going a bit mad. I'm guessing it's just because of the morphine and stuff as well. I said to Max, the lad who was with me, I said, go and take a picture of the X-ray. And the X-ray they showed me, it was from is it a CT scan that can like look down you?
I think
like
so,
that.
mate,
So you know how your spinal column stacks like that?
Yeah, so you can show the breaks, can't you?
The vertebrae I'd broke was completely in my spinal column, and I just went white. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then the other X-ray from the side, so your spine's like that, my spine was inwards like that. So I was like, oh yeah, I've actually done something. Like, so I started to calm down. I was like, right. And then they put it as in intensive care. I think it was in there for 24 hours, and then I had to ring my mum. And it's a very rare weekend that my mum and dad get any time to themselves.
And we
had like a static caravan in the Lake District, and this was on, I think it was a Friday or Saturday, the day doesn't matter, but rung my mum, and my mum was like, hey Matt, you alright? Because I speak to my family quite a lot, even wherever I am, but she's like, you alright Matt? I was like, no, I'm in hospital. She's like, what have you done? I was like, I broke my back. She's like, oh, you dickhead. Like, but she was obviously saying dickhead, like aggressive, and then I had to give the phone to, because it was Jess and Max. Max went back to the accommodation. Jess, one of the girls, stayed with me overnight and everything, and then she had to explain everything. Then I don't know if my mum had rung the hospital or the hospital had got in contact with them, and my mum and dad were like, how bad is it? And he was like, yeah, definitely paralysed, might die. It's like, you need to get over it. He was like, you need to get over it straight away. Like,
wow.
So because of the impact, my I don't know if it was my bowel or my bladder that had reshaped, and my intestines had moved up my body.
Is it still like that now?
Like, no, it's all settled out. But yeah, there's like a massive risk of internal bleeding and stuff, you know, from the impact.
Mate.
So
you're
like,
lucky to be here.
Yeah, you need to get over it now.
Very lucky to be here.
Especially with like pulling myself onto the boat and everything with such a mad break, with with like completely shattering one of my vertebrae, and like, don't know, it's just one of them things, isn't it?
We said it was a story.
Yeah.
Okay, now. So obviously, when that happened, how did you get back to the UK? Because I have a client.
I stayed in Ibiza
the whole time. Yeah. Wow. So I had a client. I won't name him in case he doesn't want to be named, but everybody knows like who it is. Like around.
Oh, I know who you're on about.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
But he broke his neck when he was in. He was in Ibiza actually. Might have been Ibiza.
I remember you telling me about this because I asked about it, didn't I? But I can't remember where you said it was.
I think it might have been Ibiza. Or he's going to Ibiza soon, it's one of them. But mate, he had a nightmare. He had to get like airlifted. And then he was there. Then I think he got brought back to the UK and everything. It's a fucking nightmare.
Did he get brought back to the UK?
Yeah, because it was just a holiday, wasn't he? He wasn't over there.
Yeah.
So you just stayed there.
Well, that was the plan. He was
so you just stayed.
Why
not? I mean,
I wanted to stay in Ibiza.
Yeah, fuck it. It's a good enough reason.
Yeah,
stay over here.
They wanted to bring. The plan was for them to fly me home back to England, but because of the severity of the break and how like. Obviously, I had fragments of bone resting in my spinal column and everything.
Yeah.
They wanted to operate on me in Spain. Well, they had to operate on me in Spain. I had to wait 5 days for the operation because they flew in a surgeon from Madrid, especially to like operate on me. I can't remember his name, but he's like considered one of the best. Like,
how can you not remember
surgeons.
his name when he saved your life?
I don't know.
How can you not remember his name?
It's not really important thing.
It's not that big of a deal. Just saved my life. That geezer's the reason you're sat here today and you can't remember his name. You should give him a shout out.
But yeah, I think they had to wait for him, and then the metalwork that's gone in my back was like being made. It was some mad country. I don't know where it was getting made, and we had to wait for that to come over. But Yeah, literally a lot. Them from going into hospital to the operation, I've no idea what went on them days. Just whacked me out of it, like, yeah. So obviously, so I couldn't move about and stuff, I'm guessing, as well. And
so what was your first recollection post-surgery? What's your first memory?
I do remember, like, semi going into the operation because my mum and Abby, who's my middle sister, and my best mate Chris flew over. Obviously, like, as soon as they heard the news, they flew over. It's a bit of a funny story, actually. My mate just took control of my mum completely. She was like, basically, you're going to see some... It was a night flight they had to come over on as well, and the flight gets heavy. Like, I think, especially from Liverpool, and my mate was like to my mum, just have a drink before you get on the plane and try and close your eyes, because you're going to see some things on this plane you might not like. And, but yeah,
the same though, isn't it? It's the same on any plane that's going somewhere like that.
But he, like, hats off to him. He took full control, like, looked after me mum and everything. As soon as she got there, come straight to the hospital. And but yeah, I remember going into the surgery and, like, my mum was crying and everything, because I didn't really know what was going on. I was just like, broke me back. Like,
you were probably like,
it'll be all right.
The one with the least amount of knowledge, because you were just like painkillered up and morphined up. You was probably in a world of your own, weren't you?
Yeah, but
to be honest.
And then I do remember coming around from the operation. First thing I did was wiggle my toes, and I could wiggle my toes, and I was like, yes. I started crying my eyes. I started crying my eyes. I was straight away and asking for my mum, and then he took me back up to where the ward I was on, and then my mum was there waiting and everything. And then I think my dad flew out the day after the operation, because he had to stay at home with my youngest sister, because they obviously thought he was going to fly me home at one point. It was all uncertain. But yeah, it was a 9-hour operation, and then they put 2 plates and 6 screws in, so that's still in now.
Does that ever come out, or does it stay in?
If it starts to cause me problems, yeah. But I have a really good physio. She's not far from around here. She's quite a popular physio in St Helens.
Give her a shout out if you want. I know who it is.
Oh no, it's not Chloe Ranson.
Is it not? No, sorry, Chloe. I tried my best. Chloe will never listen to this.
Nothing against Chloe. Nothing
against Chloe. I thought it would have been her. If it's a female physio, it tends to be Chloe. Sorry, Chloe. I did try to give you a shout out.
My dad sees Chloe though. So,
well, there you go. There's a shout out for you, Chloe.
She's got him moving again, because I'm killing him with the car. So
all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, she said if it doesn't need to come out, it won't come out, because it's just like putting your body through trauma again. Everything that's healed around it will have to re-heal and all that kind of stuff. So maybe later in life, I don't know. But. So
those, you say 7 months? No, it wasn't 7 months. That's the thing later on, isn't it? How long did it take you to recover from this?
Probably
longer.
A long time, yeah. So I had like a full body brace on, full top half body brace for 4 or 5 months. The only time I could take it off was when I was in bed, so I look like, right, there's a picture somewhere, I can't really get it out now. Like, right, getting around Bora Bora Beach.
We'll edit it onto the podcast video.
Yeah. And then I was in a wheelchair for about 4 to 5 weeks. I could walk little bits, but...
For like long distances, wheelchair.
Which got some right attention getting pushed around Ibiza. I didn't choose to stay, obviously I was dead happy I got
Keep
to stay in
Ibiza. You're in Ibiza here. I just imagine you being wheeled around Rainford.
Going around Wiston Hospital.
Yeah. Just imagine you being wheeled around the streets of Rainford then, mate, and you're in Ibiza.
Yeah.
Keep forgetting.
So the plan was for me to come home. So I used to have a big group of my mates that would come and visit me like pretty much every day. Come to the hospital, which I don't think people were too happy about, to be honest, but it was like a visiting hour, so... They could come, and then the day before I was meant to fly home, about 30, 40 people turned up, and had to come in the room, because there was another patient next to me. They had to come in the room like in 2s and 3s, so it was like pretty hectic couple of hours, to be honest.
I can imagine.
I thought I was flying home, and then literally after they left, I got a phone call off the insurance company saying the surgeon wants to do the checkups on you and wants you to stay in Ibiza. I started crying me on the phone because I was that happy that I got to stay in Ibiza. I was like, yeah, I'll stay. Like, I made it look like it was a chore. Like, but, yeah. So then I didn't tell any of them that any of my mates that I wasn't going home, and we surprised them all. Everyone was at a big pool thing the day
That's
after.
sick.
I just walked around like that.
Just shuffling around with your wheelchair.
Yeah.
So, like, what was your... well, do you know what, mate? This kind of defeats my question, because you was probably buzzing. I was about to say, like, where was your fucking mental health at the time?
Dead happy, mate.
Well, can you imagine? You're in Ibiza.
I was like, I'm going to fly back home here.
That's the most pointless question I've ever asked on this podcast. How's your mental health, mate? Surrounded by booze, sun and women. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your mental health like?
Yeah, but
buzzing?
I couldn't, obviously I couldn't drink or anything for, I think it was 6 weeks, because I had to have... I don't know what the name of the injection is. You know, the injections stop the infection and like blood clots and all that stuff when you've had surgery. So they said no drinking or drugs for certain amount of time. So I
did you listen to that?
I did actually stick to that. Yeah.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I was smoking weed, but that don't really count, does it? It's like it helps.
We're not getting onto that, mate. We're not getting into the whole weed debate here. So obviously, once you've recovered, which how long did you say it was? What should you say it's what, a year?
It's a long time. Yeah, probably like to get back in the gym and like doing things properly and not having any pain.
Well, I had no idea you had this until, and this is like you being a wally, this, because when I've asked you, like when you first signed up with me like last year, I'm sure you didn't mention this.
Probably not.
Didn't?
No.
Got any injuries or barriers to exercise? You just went, nah.
Yeah, I haven't now.
I haven't now. I brought me back, mate. I might have died 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
Paralysed, like my
Should be paralysed.
Right, yeah.
They got given me death date, mate.
Yeah.
But no, it's all good. Off the back of that, mate, like swiftly moving into the next bit, as if it wasn't hectic enough. How the fuck did you end up like dealing drugs over there?
Here we go.
How and why?
So
this is going to take a turn now. How and why?
Like I said, when I went over in 2013 for that holiday, I was living with workers and you see what goes on and everything. So like not made connections, but I knew people that were going to be going back the year after. So it wasn't always like the massive plan was to move to Ibiza and sell drugs and
like
that
a drug
over there.
kingpin.
But it's part of being there, to be honest, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone does it. You're surrounded by holiday makers, even selling to workers and stuff that didn't sell. But yeah, so I went over the 2014 first season, was doing ticket selling up to breaking me back and that, and like obviously you sell tickets to people there on holiday and that, oh, do you need anything else? Well, yeah, I want this and this, like, so you start making your extra money, and then obviously wasn't making major money, but enough to be like living and partying and stuff every night over there.
Yeah, so like sustain the lifestyle whilst she was over there.
And then obviously went into hospital for a bit, and then when I came out, carried on, but...
Oh, so you was doing it before that?
Yeah,
right, okay.
Just little bits, but then after when I came out of hospital was selling quite a lot of weed over there, to be honest, obviously, because I couldn't be going out doing all the holiday makers and all that kind of stuff, so we're just mainly selling to workers. But it was mad, I was only thinking about this before, I was like wondering what you are going to ask me, and I was like, yeah, we did sell quite a fair whack of it, to be honest, but just in little bits. People used to like queue up at the door, like waiting for like 10, 20 bags of weed and stuff. It's like next on Boxing Day sometimes, like just people queuing up. But that was all just workers, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then second season made a bit of a mess of it, to be honest. Everyone like, because we a lot of people that for my first season went back for my second season. Oh yeah, we know how to do this now. We can go out and smack it, and just everyone just end up partying all the time. Again, was just out constantly. But once again, you live to your means, don't you? If you made a few quid that day, like you go and have a big night somewhere, or you'll go out for a nice meal and then have a big night after it.
Yeah, you do. Especially when you were a bit younger as well.
Yeah, but it scaled up third season really because a lot of people from the first two seasons didn't come back. So, and the people that I was living with, won't mention names, one of the lads that I was living with, we didn't live in that accommodation that I mentioned before. We moved into like a villa in the bay. Like it was quite a nice place. It wasn't like a villa on its own. It was like a block of houses, but it was it was a big area, big 4-story thing, like basement and all that. And he's quite big time, to be honest. Was surrounded by like massive amounts of stuff. But yeah, so third season, because a lot of people didn't come back from the first and second season, their mates would be coming over, all contacts they'd made from the year before be coming over, so like, everything was just coming to me. So you could be like, you just get a phone call in the morning, 10 lads are landing, want 10 bags of beak, 100 pills, so on and so forth, and that'd be every day for like...
So how did you get it? Did you bring it over, or was it just...
No, it was already on the island, mate. People would have stuff there. Not like the people would have like stash cars coming over, so there's like cars with like secret compartments and stuff in, and then
I've seen Narcos, mate. I know how it works.
Yeah, and then I remember I walked into the villa.
Where they put it in like the wheel arches and shit like that to get it over.
Yeah. And all just sorts of mad stuff. And I never had anything to do with that. Like that was just the people I was with. But
did you ever contemplate it though?
Yeah, we done it on a flight over to Barcelona.
Did you?
Yeah, actually never. I don't think I told my dad
this. Here now.
I don't think I told my dad this. Well done. Dad.
Yeah. You're welcome, Neil.
I'm still here.
You're welcome, Neil.
Yeah, we went to a festival in Barca, and we knew loads of people that were going over from home. It's like, right, because we got an opportunity to absolutely smash it here. So I took loads of bits. Didn't even plug it, just put it in my box. It's like, walk straight through the airport. But I've been out partying for 2 days before. I slept 2 days before this. I was absolutely shitting it going through the airport. But 3 of us done it together. I took loads, and the other 2 lads took loads, and we turned up in Bath, and it's just mental. It absolutely killed it. Like, that's the most money I've made in a short space of time. There's like 40 people coming over from home, and we had to get more bits over there, new people that were there, and But there's actually another mad stuff. Something really saying. There's actually another mad story about Bath as well.
We're here now.
Met these 3 birds.
We're here now, so you should bring it up.
Met these 3 girls, and 2 of them were from Ibiza. So one of my mates kind of knew them, and he was like selling bits to them while we were there. And one of the girls was the girl's mates that just flew over from England to meet him at this festival. And we've been partying with them all weekend. Like, nothing had gone on, just having like a good time out at the festival. And after, some of my mates going to cringe now because they know exactly what's coming. After the festival ended, the 2 girls flew back to Ibiza, and me and 2 of my other mates were in the hotel with them, and the 2 girls had left to go to the airport, and we said to the other girl, like, you may as well just come back to our apartment. There's no point in you sitting here on your own. But little did we know there's like a massive after party going on, and ours was like 15 lads in there. So there was 2 other lads with me. Just sat in another room with this girl, you know, like chatting away and everything. But obviously none of us had slept. I hadn't slept for like 4 days. Don't think the girl had slept, and the other lads had like minimal sleep. And she was like, oh, I just need to go to the toilet. There was no like, she was acting dead normal before this. She was like, oh, I just need to go to the toilet. We was like, yeah, sound. She'd been in there like 15, 20 minutes. Knocked on the door. I was like, you all right? She thought she was spewing up or something. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll be out in a minute. So we give it another 5 minutes, and we knocked on the door again. There was no answer. We started to like get a bit worried, like, you know, as if she'd like died or something like that, or like passed out or whatever. And we were trying to boot the door through, but because none of us were,
because you're all tired.
Yeah, none of us could
like
get this. I may as well done it with our jaws, to be honest. None, like, couldn't put it through. But our bedroom, and it was like, have you ever seen a picture of Barcelona above, like all the buildings, like you have a hole in the middle, don't you, and all the windows face each other? So our bedroom window was like next to the bathroom window. So one of my mates, La, had climbed out the bathroom window and come back into the bathroom window, and she weren't there. She'd gone. And he's opened the door, and we was like, not expecting to see this girl, like not expecting to, but we thought she'd like passed out or something, expecting to like see this girl pass out on the floor. And Lars just opened the door, like, what the fuck, lads, like, he's Irish. And we was like, what is going on here? But we all started to go skits, like thinking she'd been abducted and all this mad stuff.
Well, you've had no sleep, or anything like that,
the only thing I had her on was Snapchat, so we were like Snapchatting her, saying like, where are you? We're worried and that, and she's like, oh, I'm fine, come to the hotel. And we was thinking this is a setup, this, like, you know, like,
I'm thinking leave, it right now.
We was going to leave, like, and we're going to get robbed or like abducted, or like we was just thinking mad shit, to be honest.
But I'm thinking that now, sat here, it sounds dodgy as anything.
We was like, send us a picture of where you are. We want to know where you are. We're worried, which obviously didn't help what she thought was happening to her. And anyway, long story short, her suitcase was in ours with the passport and everything. And we ended up agreeing for her to come back to our apartment. I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, she'd come back to our apartment, and it's like an apartment block, so you had to go down to the front door to let him in. There's no like buzzer or nothing. So me and one of the lads like walked down the stairs. I say walked, like we were literally carrying each other down the stairs to open this door. And it was a glass door, so we could see the girl just stood there. Open the door, next minute police have come from everywhere. Like, you know, the police abroad have the guns and everything. There's like 6 police officers, like a couple of police cars, everything. And me and him just froze and was like, to this girl, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and I think the police knew straight away that we hadn't done anything wrong. But anyway, she'd thought that we were about to like start like raping her and like we were planning to like murder her and kill her and all this shit. So yeah,
where's she pulled that from?
Exactly, she's obviously like skitzed out off the drugs and all that.
What was she taking?
Whatever he was on, like coke and pills and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously she hadn't slept for a few days.
But anyway,
as well.
she'd climbed out of the bathroom window, shimmied down the gutter pipe and knocked on the apartment underneath to this Spanish family, like, and they've had to let her in, and like, yeah, all been reported to the police and everything, and like we had to sit there and like the police were interviewing us. There's some weird law in Spain where I don't think they can come into your I don't know the ins and outs, but anyway, they sent me upstairs to get all the lads out of the apartment. Well, I had to go up and get the passports first, and then they took the passports, checked the names, And then all the lads had to come out. So there's all 15 of us stood in a line in the street at like 7:30 in the morning, broad daylight. The girl sat in the car. She's identified the ones that was with her in the bedroom. So it was me and the other 2 lads. Took us to a side, and then they took like further details off us. But nothing happened in the end, like luckily. But we're thinking, imagine if we had gone to the hotel, met her, and then the police had like took us.
Yeah.
And obviously all the money and like drugs and scales and stuff we had in the apartment, it could have gone completely the other way.
Oh my God, mate, that could have gone like anywhere.
But yeah, she skits out, shimmy down the drain pipe, knocked on the apartment window underneath.
She was
in her head that like every action we was doing was like we was gonna like rape her and like kill her and all this shit.
Jesus
like,
Christ,
it's heavy that, innit? But some of the lads don't like talking about it. They don't.
No, but I wouldn't like talking about it, mate, because it's like when you started talking, then I was like, where's this going?
I didn't plan on bringing this up, to be honest.
When I was weighing up in my head, I was like, imagine if it was that, and then I was like, it won't be that.
No.
And then wow, mate, that is scary. That because we're all especially in a foreign country as well.
Yeah, and the police are like completely different over there. They don't give a shit. They'll kick your head in and like. Yeah, but we're all stood in a row, and Alejandro, honey mate's gone, I hope you know what you're doing, Mac. And I'm like, not a clue, mate. I don't know what's going on. Like, just fucking. That's
a nightmare, that, mate. Luckily, it didn't end up materialising to anything because. Jesus, mate, I know it's like innocent until proven guilty, but it's not, is it? Like a lot of the time, like especially like a claim like that, mate, it can go like.
But yeah, even like say, even in a different country and the way police hear videos of how the police treat, hear things of how the police treat people and stuff, and like could have happened, couldn't it? But yeah, definitely. But yeah, anyway, we came back from Barca, straight back to Ibiza, but I had that much of a good time in Barca. I didn't actually want to go back to Ibiza. I was like, this is sick. Yeah, I've had enough of Ibiza now, but. Yeah, I went back to Ibiza and then it just escalated, mate, like the amount of drugs I was selling daily. But like we said before, the more you make, the more you spend. So you have a good day, which could be, you go and do a drop a day and
that's like a proper, it's like a proper
£2 every time, do you know what I mean?
Not obviously because of like how I've grown up and stuff, like I've been around enough like rough characters and it's quite a drug dealer mentality, that, innit? Like, oh, I've had a big score, I'll have a big night. And it's like they live kind of like score to score.
But that was on repeat though, mate. You could go and have a big night and it could end up being 3 days, like, and you wouldn't you wouldn't answer your phone again until you needed more.
It was never, that's what I mean.
Like, I'll go and
it's never sensible though, is it? It's never like,
no.
I've made this, I'll put this away for this. It's like, I've made this, I'm out, I'm celebrating and partying. But like I've seen it loads of times.
Yeah, but it's even in another way, like if you start doing well with your business, you start making money, you start buying things you don't need. And that's like, I think it's just the way of life, innit? The more you make, the more you spend, which is what I've tried to like control now.
Yeah. But I think you've got to fuck up with that though to learn it. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of unnecessary shit I've bought, like, and I've just gone, why am I buying that? Do you know what I mean? So it is something that you kind of got to get out your system.
Yeah.
So obviously when you get back there, are you straight back onto the game?
Straight back into it, like just I didn't even actively go out looking for it, like I said, because a stag do with like something, not necessarily a stag do, but a party of 10 people come over and then you go and drop off in their hotel, say Jet Apartments, the room next door would want bits, or their mates would be coming over the week after, and it just carries on like that. It's just like same with my business now, it's just like a snowball effect, innit? You get recommendations and someone knows someone that wants something, and it just carried on like that. But like I said, you could do nothing for 3 days because we'd be out partying, and then you'd get a phone call for 10, 15 bags of whatever, bit more, something else, and the drops you could be doing could be 1,500, £2,000 a day, like no problem. But just bombing about all over the island, and because you're dropping off at like 10 in the morning when they land, and like you'd end up cracking a bag of flake with them, and that's you for the day. Then you're on it all day, like. But great customer service if you ask me. Like, I'm one of them, like. But it just escalated. Not like I got into.
Do you ever look back? Here's a question for like we like move on to other bits. Do you ever look back and just think that feels like a different life that now?
Oh yeah, completely.
Like because obviously everyone's got like. I always try and say, like, people have got like, different lives. Like, one can end when you're like 23, and then another one starts, and that can end when you're like 31, and you move on and whatever. Like, sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, that doesn't feel like me. Do you have that?
Yeah, because like the person I am now would never go and do something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's because I've been through it, and I know it's 90% of the time it doesn't work out
Never works out.
Well, yeah, probably never works out. You always get caught in the end, don't you?
Yeah. The police have always got to get lucky once. You're going to get lucky every time.
Yeah.
That's what people say.
But it wasn't like I was like a big time drug dealer gangster. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just the way of life over there, and it's how people made money. At the end of the day, if you're a ticket selling over there, you make 10 a commission a ticket. If you go and sell 10 bags of it, you've 800 quid in it. Like, which one are you going to do?
This segues us nicely into the next point. If it's not a way of life, why did you move to Wales to start selling drugs?
Oh, that was like...
Did you like how I've done that there?
Yeah.
Dealing with a world-class podcaster here, mate. Picking me spots.
Podcast, Jamie Clark, PT, yeah, go on, man. Yeah. So it's a bit deep.
But how did that...
It's a bit deep, this bit. So after my third season,
Sorry, when was this? Just sort of the timeline. When did you go to Wales?
I mean, last season was 2016, and I would have moved to Wales back end of 2016, I think. Yeah, cause
She'd have been like 23, 24?
24, yeah.
24, yeah.
So after me 2016 season, I came back home for a little bit, and then some of the lads were still living over there in Ibiza. They bought a car in England. There was nothing in it. They bought a car in England, and they said, "Oh, we drive it back over?" Because I wanted to move back to Ibiza for the winter anyway. That was like my plan, was to just live the scale up the drug ladder potentially, and because I was surrounded by people that were absolutely smashing it. Do you know what I mean? They're surrounded by money and.
But that's how it gets a lot of people, innit?
Yeah.
It's the lifestyle, it's the money.
Yeah.
It's the, like you've just said there, like you'll party for 3 days, earn $2,000.
Yeah.
And $2,000, like, for people who don't know, who have lived like a very privileged, protected life, that's fuck all when it comes to drugs.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
$2,000 in 3 days is pennies compared to like the,
like I said, you could go
scale,
you
the upper scale.
You could do 2 of them drops, or you could have like
but it's
three
still
or 4 of them a week. But especially in Ibiza, if you're out partying, a ticket into DC 10's 50, 60 quid, and you can spend 300-400 quid in there.
It is definitely the lifestyle that pulls you in, because especially like when you're over there, it's like, mate, literally spending your days like in the sun, enjoying yourself with your mates. Every 3 days you go, hey mate, do you want to earn $2,000 and carry on doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
It's very easily you pulled into that, aren't you? So what was you saying? How did you get into that?
Yeah, it was about Wales, weren't it? So
so you had that car, didn't you?
And I drove over to Ibiza for them. He like paid everything, ferry expenses, or not expenses, but like what I spent on the way over. And it was a way for me to go back over there, because I did want to go back over. So we went back over there for, I think I was only there 2 weeks, and then we got a phone call. It was quite deep actually. We got a phone call saying that the lad I mentioned before had been in an accident with a train, and we was like, all right. And then ended up he committed suicide. And La was one of my like best mates at the time. Not like a lifetime best mate, but I'd known him for 3 seasons in Ibiza and lived with him. When you spend every single minute of every single day with each other, you become like brothers, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
It's not like
that type of relationship can materialise.
You know what I mean?
That type of relationship it doesn't matter how long you've known someone. It's like the quality of relationship.
Time you
can feel that like in a month, but with someone, if you're fucking close to them, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
And we got that phone call. He'd committed suicide. I won't get into how he'd done it, which is horrendous. But it wobbled me, mate. So went back. Because obviously he was like the life of the party. He was like the one that everyone wanted to be around.
You'd never expect it from him. He was
one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. One of the happiest people I've ever met in my life. And I got a Snapchat off him. He was just like randomly saying, "Oh, I love you, bro. Tell Jay I love him," which is one of the other lads that I was with. I didn't think anything of it. Just thought, "Oh, he's pissed up or something." Do you know what I mean? And just replied like saying, "I love you too, bro." And then like literally a few hours later, we got this.
So it was like a goodbye.
Yeah, basically.
It's scary, that, isn't it?
But at the same time, could I have acted on that any better? I don't know, because I wasn't there. It's not like I can pick up the phone.
You can't think like that.
I know I don't.
Because I've lost a shitload of people. It's not making this about me, but I've lost a shitload of people in my life, and like you always do the what if I did that different. You can't think like that.
I know you can't, because it's done, isn't it? But I'm guessing a lot of people would think the same. His girlfriend at the time, 100%. Steph, she lived with us as well, and it was just like, it was horrendous, mate. It's just like, no one expected it, and obviously he had like a big influence on a lot of people's life in Ibiza because of how funny he was and because of the person he was, and just like horrendous. But I went straight from Ibiza to his funeral just outside Dublin in Blanche. that was tough. Like, tough. I didn't believe it was real. Obviously, I knew he killed himself, but I didn't believe it was real until
it's different.
I actually seen the coffin being carried out to church and stuff, and that's the only time I broke down about it when I seen that in bits, mate. It didn't.
It's different when your mates die.
Yeah,
it's not the same. I had this conversation yesterday.
Well, you lost one of your mates.
One of my best mates died last year in a car accident. Yeah, I said to someone, funny enough, mate, yesterday. I was like, your mum and dad and your nan and god, you eventually expect them to go.
It's the way of life, isn't it, that you should go to the funeral kind of thing.
You expect your mates to live forever.
Yeah.
It's in ways, it's almost worse because it's so unexpected. It's such a tricky thing to deal with, mate. And like, I'm the same with you where you don't think it's real. And there'll be bits where, like, sounds stupid, but even now, mate, like, I'll go to tag someone on Instagram and his name pops up.
Yeah.
And you're like, how's he gone when he's still?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It is
doesn't
tricky.
Feel right, does it?
No, it doesn't, mate, whatsoever. It's a horrible thing to go through, especially like there's so many unanswered questions.
Especially sudden ones like my situation and your situation, because one minute you're speaking to them and then the day after they're like, bang, do you know what I mean?
Like, I remember one a few years ago, a lad who, it made me feel so old, I was only like 20, but like a lad from our school, very similar to your mate, like constantly life of the party, always like cheery, never a bad word, nothing like that. And like, I wasn't there at the time, but it was this lad was telling me this story, and I think they were playing poker or something. And like, as this lad's got out the car, he's gone like, oh, but you know, we forgot to do that. And he went, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. He died in his sleep. And it's like, it's just hard to get your head round, because it's like you've had no closure. Do you know what I mean? It's such a tricky thing to deal with.
I know it's still hard circumstance, but if someone's ill and you can kind of like not prepare for it, you get to say goodbyes and stuff. It made me feel a bit.
I think prepare is the right word in it, because you can't
actually prepare. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not like,
it's the process of letting them go in it. Yeah. Whereas when it's just like they cut off,
1 minute is messaging you and giving each other shit, and the next minute you're like,
like I love, hiya mate, I love you, I love you too.
Yeah.
Next day, gone. Yeah. It's hard to deal with, mate. How did you deal with that?
Didn't.
Did you not?
No.
Still not dealt with it?
Yeah, I think so. It's like, not like he sits in my mind every day, but like, probably the same with you and your mate. Like, you hear a song and it's like, takes you right back to, it's just hard, like, but...
it's horrible, mate. It's little things.
Yeah, I still haven't, but, I probably have, but probably not in the right ways. I've dealt with it with, like, other things that we're going to get into, but so what a wide conversation we just had from you asking me if I'll move into Wales, but
mate, told you, world class podcast to me. Get it all out, so go on, back to the Wales.
I made
thing.
A few good mates from Newport in Wales during my time in Ibiza, and they knew, because I went from the funeral, went back home. And I was on my own at home, mate, because I've got mates at home. I've got a lot of mates at home now, but then I didn't, because I left home at 16 and went to like college and then uni and all that. I missed like a part of bonding with people from school, if that makes sense. You know, like if you go to like sixth form and stuff, everyone's going out on weekends and all this, that and the other. So I like missed that at home, but not I don't regret it, because I was never there. I made mates from all over the country and they're still my mates now, but so I had no one really when I came home. Just had my family and stuff, and like one of the lads like, well, why, my mum's away all the time, like you just come move down here, like get your head away from things. And then I went down there and ended up getting heavily involved in selling drugs.
So how did that happen? Because obviously, like, you've moved there, and like I always make jokes to people, and although like I always go on about, like, I can't walk down the street now without someone like beeping at me and going, "Hey Jamie, all right?" and stuff like that.
Us, like,
But like, if I move somewhere else, it's like starting again. Meeting people, getting like, how did that start?
So
how
the lads in Wales had obviously
there?
lived there, like they know everyone. They were not involved in drugs. I don't know, they probably done little bits, but they knew people that would take drugs and who we could sell things to. And it was always a little bit of a rough plan for me to, because I had very good connections from up here. I won't say the location and I won't say the name, from people not far from here. So it was always like a rough plan for me to be the man who makes that happen, like, if that makes sense.
The middleman.
Basically, we're not the middleman, because we kind of done it together, the three of us, but it would always be on my head. It would be me making the phone calls to get the stuff shipped down from down here. Not shipped down, drove down from down here, and Yeah, we was doing all right, to be fair. Like
the trafficking part of it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, we was moving quite a bit. The first couple of kilos of weed a week, and then there was other bits getting involved. Like at one point we had
it's a slippery slope, innit?
10,000 pills chopped off from another location, which I won't say, but
it is a slippery slope.
At some points if we had got arrested and the house had got raided, we probably would be looking at quite a long time. But you don't think like that, do you? Anyway, well, not like you've ever been in it, but you don't.
No, but I've been around it because of obviously like where I've grew up and stuff. Like the vast majority of my mates growing up, and this is no, like I've got no, but they're great fucking people. Do you know what I mean? But they're involved in that life because I grew up in a council estate, mate. It's literally like it's difficult to kind of get out from that. So a lot of people are, and it's people I've grew up with, mate, are in jail now or dead because of it. Or it's and they wouldn't have thought like that. Definitely not. And you tend not to. Like, I had a conversation again. We'll not. I'm obviously not going to name people here, but I've got there's a mate who I've got, and a couple of years ago we got let off with a heroin charge, and which is a fucking heavy. You get caught with that, mate. You're going down for a long time.
It's because of the value of it as well, isn't it? It's not like getting caught with a gram of coke. A gram of heroin's worth a lot of times more, isn't it?
Yeah. So he was looking at this, and it got dropped, and mate, and you could see the stress eating away at him every day. He was like pent up, didn't know what was going on, and anyway. He got dropped, and I'll never forget it, mate. He was in my car, it was a few years ago, this, and he got straight onto the police and was like, right, where's my money that you confiscated? Where's this? And I went, what are you doing? I was like, just let it go, move on. And then, mate, I went, and he went, no, I will, I'm just getting my money back. And then, that's it, I'm going straight. Week later, mate, straight back into it. And it's like, what are you... And people, you don't think, it's just like, what's the next bit? What's the next bit?
It's all they know, though, some people.
Yeah. But I can relate to it in a way with obviously what I do, mate, where I don't ever think about anything else except for clients, business, next steps. Yeah. Like, I don't ever sit and think about what other things suffer because of me, just non-stop. Yeah. So I'm not saying I can fucking relate to it, Jesus.
But I think I've got to be selfish, though, to make something of yourself. Yeah, you have to be, and you have to, like, cut things out that, not that you don't want to do, but that don't benefit you in a way. And that you have got, like, with how busy you are, you're constant, isn't it? You can't have time for other things.
I was speaking to someone the other. I was speaking to someone earlier on, and I was just like, I've not spoke for like 3 days, and he's like, I know you've been too busy. I know. Yeah, it is what do you want me to do? Yeah. I'll always choose business and clients over like friendships, relationships, everything like that. It's just how I am.
Yeah,
so I can understand that side of it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're making eye-watering amounts of money.
Oh, it's silly, mate, the money you can make, yeah. But I seen somebody the other day like that, is it Nick Capo? That's the
Nick Capo, He spoke he did all that stuff in lockdown, didn't he?
Yeah. And then I seen the clip on Instagram the other day, he's like, if you make 100 grand a year off drugs and then you get nicked for 5 years, well, you work out, divide that 100 grand by 5, and then you're on like less than, you're on like minimum wage, so you may as well go and get a job at Mackey's or something. I was like, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like...
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. So, like, how did that go from there? So, obviously, you got involved in that.
Yeah, so we was doing all right at first. Everything was moving pretty quickly. We had quite a bit of money coming in. But we was just partying all the time still because it's a group of lads together and you've all been in IB together. I don't think our mindsets came away from IB fan. Maybe part of it was to mask emotion. I don't want to blame anyone or anything for like me taking drugs and stuff, but maybe some of it was to mask emotion. You're getting on it all the time, but a lot of it was social at the start. You'd be going to the pub, you'd be going out in town, you'd just way of life, drinking, sniffing, back to after party, so on and so forth, and that's all it was for a bit. But yeah, the drugs we was doing quite well, and then it just turned very quickly from nowhere.
I was about to say, how did this
I still haven't figured out how it completely went tits up because I was off me nuts all the time. I wasn't thinking straight. Money was here, there and everywhere, and it goes from...
Was it more of like a hobby than a business? Like you didn't treat it like a business?
You didn't take it seriously.
You didn't treat it like a business.
We were just living off it, like, do you know what I mean? And we could go out when we wanted, we could eat wherever we wanted.
It kind of just funded what you wanted.
Pair of trainers, you go and get a new pair of trainers.
Just funded like your lifestyle more than you did like a business.
Obviously, because there was 3 of us in on it, it wasn't... everything was getting split 3 ways, or the money, we were together all the time, so the money would a lot of the time just stay together
in one pot, kind of thing.
Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, it went tits up very quickly, so because we was getting it from one person up here, then we started getting something off someone else and something off someone else. So the money that would be owed to the person up here, it would end up going to someone else that we'd get bits off. And it just gets messy, do you know what I mean? Like, say, I could owe the lad up here 10 grand and I'd owe someone else 5 grand. I'd owe to someone else something quicker than what I'd have to pay the other person back, and you go, oh, there you go, you
so
have
it's
that,
like not circulating quick enough.
So still owe that guy 10 grand, and then you'd end up getting a bit of money back to him. By the time the other drop would come, you would only pay him half, and then you'd only be paying half of the next drop, and before you know it, tits up. So I ended up owing the lad from up here 18 grand. So yeah, that went from...
How much did you owe in total?
Altogether, by the time...
You don't have to give me a number.
By the time of, like, in the end...
You don't have to give me a number, like, roughly.
At the end of my addiction, it's between 50 and 100 grand.
But yeah. That's a lot of money, that.
It was closer to 100 grand, yeah.
That's a lot of money, that, mate.
Yeah, it's
Jesus
ridiculous.
Christ.
Ridiculous.
Is that what spiralled you into addiction?
The debt?
Yeah.
The addiction. Do you think it was a knock-on? Led up to most of the debt, to be honest.
Do you think it was an addiction? So do you think it was a knock-on? So obviously, like, things with your mate, moving there, getting involved with that, do you think it just kind of accumulated?
I think everything was a mask, mate. So I probably was an addict while I was in Ibiza, but you're not classed as an addict because it's like everyone's partying and it's a lifestyle, and you would be getting on it probably 5-6 days a week without even realising you're getting on it.
It's like people call it like a functioning addict, don't they? Like, because you're not like sitting around the house sniffing, you're working.
But it's acceptable. You're a shitbag if you don't go on a night out and take drugs in Ibiza. You know what I mean? You're like, you frowned upon if you don't go out.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, what's wrong with you? Get out. But so it probably did stem from there. But when I first came home, it wasn't really bad. And then when I moved to Newport, like I said, it was a social thing. Like, we'd be going out doing it, and then very quickly it went from me just getting on it on my own every day. We'd all go to bed after the party had finished or whatever, and I'd be sat there in bed sniffing on my own, and then I wouldn't sleep, and then I'd continue to do it the day after. And it was like a secret sniffer. Like, I'd be going to the toilet pretending to have a piss, and I'd be having a strike while I was in there. Like, you know what I mean? Just like getting through my day. But I had a job as well when I was down there. I was doing the estate agency, and so I was like, going around showing people around houses absolutely off my tits, mate. But it worked though. Sold 9 houses in 8 days. So, like, yeah. But that was through my ex-bird that she was like, when I lived in Wales, she was like my very first girlfriend, like, and I was like madly in love, do you know what I mean? You know, like everything just clicks and you think, And obviously it was my first girlfriend.
Like, you fall head over heels with the first one, don't you?
She was like my type to a T, like, and but I ended up moving in with her, and then I think I told her I loved her after like 8 days. You know what I mean? Like,
we've all been there. Have you ever done that, Zach?
I've
Yeah.
been with my first girlfriend for 6 years.
As well?
I've been with my first girlfriend for 6 years.
How long?
Are you still living now?
Yeah.
Good on you.
Lad.
How quick did you tell you loved her?
Probably like after a year.
A year?
Oh yeah, not as deep as
mate.
me then. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm like, I can be like 2 hours, me.
Yeah.
I just the way we click. I just love you.
I think
I'm bad, me.
Yeah. I think the way I put it was, can you be in love with someone without telling them you love you? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm in love with you. And I was like, what? Looking back now, I'm like, you soppy bastard.
Oh,
like, yeah.
We've all been.
But
there,
like
though.
I said, mate,
Jesus
she
Christ.
was like perfect to me on on paper, my type. Like, do you know what I mean? And
here's an interesting one. Because I've been stung with this. In hindsight, was she perfect for you?
No.
No.
Not looking back now, no.
Isn't it weird though? Because like
looks and like looks wise, she still is now. Like, do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
not
that never
like,
changes.
Yeah.
But like I did that where I think you can ignore a lot of stuff because you're so infatuated with her.
Oh, mate, the amount of red flags that got thrown.
There's a
at
girl,
me,
and I'm not going to mention her, but like a girl years ago, right? I've never fell for anyone as hard as I felt, mate. I fucking fell through the floor for this girl. Like, genuinely never fell as fast and as quick. I had a lot going on in my life at the time, so I just lost my dad. I like just
need some comfort as well.
Immediately fell for me. She was like, she kind of sorted in place. She was there for me, everything like that. And I just immediately fell for her. And she's a great girl. Like, I've not spoken to her in ages, but she's a great girl. But now that I look back, I'm like, you weren't what I thought you were at the time.
No, yeah.
I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just like when I look at my compatibility and her compatibility, but at the time you're like, no, she's everything.
Everything, yeah.
Crazy, and
but it doesn't matter what they do, you make everything different in your head to condone what they've done. So you're like, I can can get around that, and she's not done this, like, and, but the one in Wales, she ended up cheating on me with her ex, but the way that came out, I kind of had an inkling, to be honest, like what was going on, kind of just, when you sense something, but once again, you'd make everything in your head not to be like that. So she like split up with me randomly, and then she went like, I went back to the house and she wasn't there, and I'm like, oh, she must have just gone for a walk or something. I'm guessing she'd gone to see her ex-fella. I still don't know that for a fact, but I think, did we get back together or was this in between? I think we like started like seeing each other again, and then she said she was pregnant, like came out she was pregnant, told me it was mine, but she wanted an abortion, and I was like, all right, but I think we must have got back together, because I was like, why do you want an abortion on this anyway? I ended up going through the abortion with her, like taking her to the hospital, watching her, and then was with her when she got rid of the baby. Like, obviously she was in the bathroom, the door was closed, I didn't see that, but like tried to support her the best I can. And then the day after, she was like, oh, the only reason I wanted to get rid of it is because I've cheated on you with my ex. And I was
Jesus
like,
Christ, mate.
What a way to fuck someone's head up. Could
be worse, mate. As devastating as that is, and that is one of my worst fears.
Yeah.
Imagine if she'd have had it and it wasn't yours, and like they're like 6-7 years of age now.
It wouldn't be Ginger, would it, when he came out? So don't need no DNA test there, do we?
No, that's not mine.
That's not mine.
Best of everything. See you later. But no, mate. I think you've dodged the bullet there, though.
But yeah,
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, that was heavy. But I was still. Was I like bang on it when I was with her? Yeah, I think I was like bang on it the whole time I was in Newport, to be fair. That's where it grabbed hold of me, mate, yeah. So
when did you realise, or did you ever realise you was like an addict? Did you realise, or? Yeah,
the moment that I realised I was still in Wales. I think, had we broke up? I don't know. That doesn't really matter. But I remember sitting up one night, because I was like sniffing in bed on my own, like I said, and just like scrolling Instagram and like watching shit on you. Just there was no reason for me to do it. I was just banging, like sniffing to me. I remember Googling, how do you know if you're a cocaine addict? And then I was like, I'm fucking like Googling how to find out if you're a cocaine addict.
Probably a cocaine addict.
There's something going on, right?
Yeah, probably a cocaine addict, yeah.
But I just ignored it and carried on, and then we split up, and then I ended up moving back home. Probably end of July, start of August, maybe 2017. And obviously because I broke up with her, just threw me off the rails again. Like, so I came home, I was sniffing every day when I was there. But yeah, I was like doing 3 or 4 bags of flake day in, day out since I moved to Newport to when I ended up going into rehab, which was January 2018. So
wow.
I was out of control, mate. Like, because I wasn't selling drugs at home or nothing. Just getting money from other places, which is quite hard to talk about. Like, I was robbing off my family and robbing bank cards.
You're not yourself when you're an addict, though, mate. No. I've lived with an addict, and it's like, it's frightening because it's not them, and I won't mention them. It's an ex-girlfriend who I absolutely cannot stand, and it's but it was one of her family members. I won't say who, but like, she went to rehab, and when she come out, she was like, it was weird. It's like, because I dropped her off at the station to go, and she was like, obviously an addict then, and then she come out of rehab. Did you know
she was going into rehab when you dropped off? Yeah.
And then she come back, and I was like, I've picked someone else up here. You're not the same person. Yeah. And it's weird. It's like you're feeding a fucking demon, innit? It's inside you, and you can't. It's like not yourself. Yeah. It's mad, mate. So.
But yeah, we like I said, we broke up. I came home. I was doing, like I said, probably 3-4 bags a day, sometimes more. This is day in, day out. Like, I'd sometimes go and get a bag before I brush my teeth in the morning. It'd be straight out, if I slept, like. But yeah, to feed that addiction, I was doing horrible stuff, like, and it must have been absolutely horrendous for my family, because you know what person I am, not that guy. Like, I was like I said, robbing stuff, jewellery, laptops, bank cards, anything I could get my hands on, mate. And then even when I couldn't get money that way, I would, because I had like 4 or 5 different people I could get it off. I'd like run bills up with all of them, then when it got desperate with one of them, and he'd be like threatening you to pay the money, you'd figure out how to get the money, and then it's just like, well, I'd have to make something up to my mum and dad, say, oh, this lad from when I was in Wales, or selling drugs, and like the amount of money they bailed me out of was ridiculous. And then I'd still go and like rob my mum's bank card or rob some jewellery, and
Yeah.
my sister's laptop was one of the worst ones. Just kept robbing her laptop and putting it in cash converter, getting the money for it, and then I'd go and get a load of bags, go to bookies, win the money back a few days later, go back to cash converter, get the laptop out, put it back, and then there'd be a few times where my mum and dad would find out I took it, even iPads and stuff, and like my iPhone was in contract to put it in cash converter, and then I'd figure out a way to get money to go and get it back and stuff. Just a constant cycle of lies and horrible shit, mate. But once you're in like a circle of telling lies, you don't know what lies what anymore.
You don't know what the truth is anymore, do you? Because you get lost.
Just living a constant lie like daily, and but yeah, my dad had, it's just horrible what I put him through, mate. Like, I don't want to get into too much detail on like exactly the stuff I've done, just like because I don't really, not like the wounds have healed with my mum and dad. I'm guessing they haven't. Well, I know they haven't, but I don't want to open things up to them for them to feel like back in that moment again. And even my sister, my youngest, this is like the thing. I don't regret what I've done, because I've done it. Do you know what I mean? And it has like taught me a lot about what I am, and like it's the cliche saying, isn't it? You have to go through shit to become who you are now. But with me and with you as well, I know you can relate to this. It's made me who I am now, and like.
So you can't really regret it?
No, I can't regret that, but what I do regret is...
how you've got here.
What I put my sisters through. Obviously, I really regret and I feel so bad for what I put my mum and dad through, but mainly my younger sisters, because I'm their big brother, do you know what I mean? They're meant to be, I'm meant to be their role model, like they're meant to look up to me and like...
that's what...
take after me in life, and I'm robbing off them, and they're like seeing how I was, and obviously they seen the damage it done to my mum and dad more than what I seen, because I didn't give a shit, mate. I didn't care how anyone else felt as long as I could do what I was doing. Yeah. And you know me now, like the family person that I am now is like, people probably won't expect me to think like that about my family then, do you know what I mean?
The thing is though, mate, that just flipping this round though, is like, you have just mentioned, obviously I've got to kind of be a role model, but you could look at it in a way, which I think is the right way to look at it, where they could look at what you've pulled yourself out of.
Yeah, there's the flip side of that,
and look at what you're doing now and be like, the fucking resilience you've got and the strength you've got and everything you've shown to get here, that's admirable. Yeah. Because if it's one of them, if you'd have gone off the rails and you're still doing it today, it's different. But you've pulled yourself out of it, mate. Your business is fucking flying, which obviously we'll get to. So you can look at it in that way as well. That like you've pulled yourself from here, like all the way up here. Yeah, definitely.
On the negative, isn't there? But
so how did you end up with going to rehab?
So I'd had my final straw like hundreds of times with mum and dad, and how did it come out? They knew exactly what I was doing, like, do you know what I mean? They knew I was in trouble with drugs, and I just kept denying it all the time. But they thought I was trying to like sell it to them that the debt I was in was from selling drugs, and my dad's not stupid. Like, he used to be a doorman in Ormskirk years ago, and he's been around enough dodgy people in his time, and people off the nut in pubs and stuff to know, like, you know, how not on it, do you know what I mean? But it all came out, and then they were going to put me in the Priory, which is like a dead renowned rehab, like I think like Robbie Williams and loads of celebrities and stuff go there. It's like $3,000 a week, or was it? It was free, it was going to total it to 18 grand. So I can't remember if it was
a month,
$6,000 a week and I needed 3 weeks, or if it was $3,000 a week and I needed 6 weeks. That doesn't matter.
Wow.
But they were going to put me in there, and then they said like, well, you're going here, and then I ended up robbing my youngest sister's bank card again. I remember, but little did I know she'd set it up on a phone that as soon as your bank card's used, you know how it's like now, as soon as you use contactless, it comes through on your phone. So she had that, and I robbed her bank card while they were out, and went to the cash and got money out and went and got some bags. And my dad was like, right, that's your final straw, you kicked out. They were out, they come straight back to the house. She's like, get back to the house now. Like, met him at the house, and my dad was like, right, that's your final straw, you're out, gone, give me 100 quid. Said, pack a bag. And they even got me a new car on finance, showing all this, like, because they thought it down a brand new Scirocco on finance. Like, they were paying for it, and he gave me the key, give me my car keys, made me pack my bags, and he said, you're out, and I thought, nah, he's not being serious here, like, but he was giving me 100 quid to get an hotel for a night or whatever, and obviously went and bought bags straight away. Like, I thought, what a dickhead, just give me 100 quid cash here, like, you know what I mean? So I think I spent like 80 quid on coke, and then I went and put 20 quid in the bookies, hoping I could win some money back, you know, on the roulette. But then, because I was a proper selfish person, I turned my phone off so that my mum and dad would worry about me. Yeah. And then I turned it back on a few hours later, and my mum was like, where are you? I was like, I ended up in Preston somehow, which is mad because that's where I went to college and where I went to uni and everything. So I knew Preston quite well. I don't know why I ended up. I was just driving around for hours, like off me nut, and then I had to say like I've spent my money. I need a hotel. Blah blah blah. They put me in a Marriott, which was another nice thing as well.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? And then for the 2 weeks, so they found. My dad said, "Sorry, I missed like the important part of that." My dad's like, "Because you've done that to your sister, you're done. Like, I'm not putting you in a nice rehab. Why should I spend this much money on you?" And my auntie's like a big, like really into God and Christianity and all that stuff.
Like a big religious person.
Yeah, so there was one in Manchester which was like it's called Batel, which in the end it was a blessing in disguise. Not that I robbed my sister and didn't send me to be. It was a blessing in disguise, not sending me to that the rehab you had to pay for. But yeah, they put me in a hotel in Preston for 2 weeks. It wasn't a Marriott, so that would have been a hell of a lot of money. While I was waiting, but I was still finding ways to get bags up there, and I was still getting on it all the time. And I was like, just working my way around. And anyway, when I went they found the rehab in Manchester. I went into there. My dad even dropped me off, took me up there, and I was thinking in my head, oh, can I get on the car here and all that? And then when I seen how emotional my dad was, I was like, yeah, I just need to do this. Like, I've probably only seen my dad cry 3 or 4 times in my life, not because he's not an emotional person, he just doesn't really, he's like me, I don't really get upset, do you know what I mean? It's like a man thing, isn't it? Lads don't really.
Yeah, you just get on with it, mate. Like you don't really.
Yeah, he dropped me off and it was daunting, mate. It was like a run-down building, it was horrendous. I was shitting it walking in because like you take your phone off you and everything. I didn't have one anyway because it was in cash converter. So I had no phone or nothing. I had nothing valuable because that was sold in pawn shops and like cash converter and stuff. But yeah, he dropped me off. My dad proper broke down and it made me really emotional. But yeah, you get like greeted. There's no staff. This is the mad thing about the place. There's no staff.
Yeah,
no one's trained to like in recovery or rehab or nothing like that. It's all people that have gone in your situation and have stayed there, and then they get like a little bit of money a week. So like the head guy was called Anthony. He'd been in there, I think he'd been in there like 10 or 15 years, and went in as like a crack and heroin addict, and he'd like just committed his life to that place. And the staff that were there were people that committed themselves to helping other people, which is like, this is why I think it worked for me, because it was people that had been through it. My situation, or well, obviously 95% of them have been in a hell of a worse situation than I had.
Yeah.
So they can speak the sense into you. I don't think I would have come out of it the same as what I have if I was going into a place where someone's telling me what I should be doing when they've never been a drug addict themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's hard to resonate.
Yeah,
when you've not done it. Yeah, you've not walked that path.
But yeah, you go in there and you take all your clothes off you. You have to get unchanged in front of them. You have to go straight in a shower. In case you brought any drugs in, they have to stand outside the door, and then they wash all your clothes that you've took in case you've got drugs or anything else on you. So you have to wear like some random outfit for like 24 hours, horrendous, mate, until your clothes are washed. So that was a bit daunting. And then you say, oh, you have to have a responsible with you, so someone had to shadow you for 2 weeks. You couldn't be anywhere in the house. You can't leave the house for 2 weeks. You don't go out to work or nothing. They have to, if you want to piss, they have to follow you to the toilet, stand outside the cubicle door. If you want to shower, they have to not watch you shower, but stand outside the door. If you want a cup of tea, they have to make it for you. It was like just stripping you right back to basics, so you have nothing.
Yeah.
You got no what's the word I'm trying to use here? You got no responsibilities, no nothing. Like you said, you can't do anything yourself. And yeah, like you share a bunk bed, you're in a room with 6 lads. It was like proper, like rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine.
In a way, it worked for me, though, because
well, it definitely worked for you.
Well, it has done, yeah. So once you're in there for 2 weeks, you start going out to work. So the rehab there's no funding from government or nothing like that. It was all self-funding. So they had a furniture shop in like Warrington in Manchester. Furniture would be donated or bought in big bulk, and then we would like restore the furniture and then it'd get sold into the shop. But I ended up doing the gardens, so it would be, like gardening, cutting grass, cutting edges, laying patio, stuff like that. Which I loved. I ended up being the team leader for it, which is like nothing to put on your CV, like it's a Batel rehab garden leader. But like it worked for me. But it was like I think it worked. It just took me away from everything, took me away from the life I was living. It gave my mum and dad and my family chance to kind of try and sort themselves out, and they knew where I was. You wasn't allowed a phone call for like 2 weeks or maybe a month. I think it was 2 weeks, but my mum would still be ringing the rehab every day, like speak to one of the office staff, like see how I was and stuff. Which that never happened. A lot of the people that were in there were homeless. The family had fully had enough of them, and crack addicts, heroin addicts, done horrendous things to get their fix. And like from the moment I walked in there and I got into conversation with people, I was like, I'd be all right here. Do you know what I mean? I can get myself out of this. My mum and dad had told me they wanted me to do 12 months in there. Fucking hell, that's a long time. Do you know what I mean? But I just got my head down and got on with it, and like like I enjoyed it. Obviously, I wanted to be with my family and be outside, but you got to make something of it. And I did get on well with some of the people that were in there. And like some of the stories they have, mate, were like horrendous, like stabbing people, doing robberies and all stuff, like bad stuff. Like
just to like fund what they were doing.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but I ended up doing just under 7 months, 6.5 months. I think it was like 6 months, 3 weeks. And when I had to go and tell the staff I wanted to leave, I rang my dad, and I was shitting. I thought he was going to take it really bad, like, and he was like, "Oh no, that's fine, we'll come and get you." So the rehab dropped me off at Manchester train station with like £2 to make a phone call, or like I don't know how they plan on getting a train on that. My dad's like, "No, that's fine." I was like, "Oh, right, sounds like I'm out here." And he told me when he picked me up, he's like, we only wanted you to do 3 months. Yeah. We lied to you. We wanted you to do 12 because we said, if we told you we wanted you to do 3 months, you'd do a month and you'd come out. So I was like, well, that's sound. I've done just under 7 months. So yeah, then he came and picked me up and brought me back home, which was hard, mate. It was tough. Like not thinking about getting addicted to coke or doing stuff like that again. It's just hard being in like around my family, because I had my emotions back and I knew like what I'd put them through and stuff again. And even like seeing my mates and stuff again, that took a while, to be fair. Like my best mate Chris, the lad that came over to IB to look after me, I spoke to him quite a lot when I was in there, but anyone else didn't have any contact with anyone. No one even knew where I was. Like, my mates from IB or anything. I just like deleted my socials, deleted everything. The people that needed to know, well, not needed to know, that I wanted to know that I was in there, my parents had made contact with, just to let me know that I was safe and like I hadn't been killed or nothing like that. And just in rehab to but yeah, that was like probably the hardest thing. It was just horrendous. Obviously I've skimmed over the details there, but going through that,
you've gone into a lot of detail there, mate. I appreciate you doing it. Do you think that's your biggest accomplishment?
No, I think probably like turning my life around like that has been
fucking hell, mate. It's a big accomplishment, that.
Yeah, it's big, but
I think one thing as well, just me touching on it there, mate, is like you've got such a fucking good family. You.
Oh yeah,
your family,
to have the people.
Mate,
it gets me like emotional thinking about how good my family are.
Like honestly, mate, like you said there, like most people, the families have had enough of him. That's that. Like Dave, literally, like fucking brought the backs, mate, to like help you out of the end. It's I don't know, mate. It's just heartwarming that. Like it's so nice to see like they've never give up on you. And now you're fucking smashing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's just works for me. Like, but yeah, it's like
tables have turned.
My dad's my best mate, and not saying I don't dislike my mum. Like my mum, I love you, mum. I'm really close with my mum as well, but closer. Me and my mum have a different relationship to what me and my dad have. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad's more of a mate.
I said this to my mum, because obviously I'm back at my mum's while the house gets renovated. And I was trying to explain it to them, like, your mum never stops being your mum, but your dad eventually becomes like your best mate.
He is my best mate,
Do you know what I mean? It eventually happens, doesn't it? So I completely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, like, my dad's mates with all my mates and stuff, like my mates love my dad. Like even
sound as what your dad.
Even customers now request my dad.
Yeah,
like Sam, that does me a favour. Like,
he sounds as what your dad, mate.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Do you know what, mate? One thing about your dad, which like I've never actually said to you, but I thought it was lovely. So if he's listening to this, like, thank you.
He will listen.
I remember outside the house when you and him were doing my car, and I think you brought it up like, how's the house going in? Have you got it yet?
Yeah.
So it was like 4 or 5 months ago. And
it was just before Christmas, weren't it? Yeah.
It might have just been before Christmas.
I was really ill, I remember doing it.
And I remember just trying to, like you just said, I've tried to skim over it because it's such a long story. Tried to skim over it and it's still like 10, 15 minutes. And then...
But that's my dad. You're chatty and my dad is as well.
Yeah.
You don't even need to spark conversation with him or you. You just like...
Yeah.
Like,
I know, yeah. Just don't shut up. But one thing for me, mate, which I thought was just great, I didn't see him again then for like a month or two. And then I seen him in the gym.
Oh, yeah, he's in the gym, weren't he? Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, mate, you all right, blah, blah, blah. And as I gone like, hey, mate, you all right? Yeah, you. How's the house going?
Yeah, he's very
good. And I thought, wow,
like
you fucking listen to me.
Yeah.
And like, just a dead genuine guy. So thank you. Like, just a dead genuine guy. It's not just like, oh, yeah, brushes past it. Like, he sat and thought, oh, yeah, how's that going? And it just meant a lot, mate. Because not a lot of people do it. Do you know what I mean?
He's not even like, he doesn't even try to be nice like that. It's just him.
Just him.
Which is what is the nice thing about him. He doesn't go out of his way to make people feel nice or like,
it's just him.
It's just the way he is.
He's just a genuine guy, and he is such a genuine guy.
But yeah, for the shit I've put him through, what he's done for me, like I think I've redeemed myself. But obviously, like I said, I've missed quite a bit out just because some of the things I've done to him. Well,
yeah, mate, it's whatever you're prepared to speak about.
I wouldn't ever speak about to even like my closest of close mates.
No,
there's some of the things that I've done to my family, only my family will know, and they will probably never ever be spoke about again. Do you know what I mean? Just because it is.
No, there's a time and a place for stuff like that, isn't there? Definitely. But moving on to the nicer part of this. The
positive things.
The nicer part of this podcast now. Jesus Christ. Where did the business start, mate? Because I only really heard you last year. Yeah. Did it only start last year?
No, I only really started making a name for myself really last year. Not like I didn't have a name for well, probably didn't, to be fair. I was doing well, but I started...
When did I start with you? Has it been about a year now?
A year. Probably June or July time.
It's coming up to a year, innit?
Because it was in summer, because I remember... I had a golf match, didn't I? I remember little things. We had a golf match, so I know it must have been nice weather because I don't play golf in winter. So like,
it must have been.
I've been full-time just over 2 years, and I haven't even been full-time since then. I'm still plastering 2 days a week in case, because I had a job with my dad.
I can't believe you've not told me you can plaster.
No, I can't plaster.
Can you actually not?
No, just get that out there before people start messaging me asking.
When I'm there asking, can anyone plaster? You're there, not popping up. Fucking hell.
I can skim and that. I can do bits, but I wouldn't feel confident doing it on my own. I was more of a labourer, but like Stenny, he's unbelievable, mate. The house we were working on were all like the multi-million-pound houses in like Hale Barnes, Altrincham, like the one we'd done the owner of B&M's house, which was like ridiculous, mate.
Was it?
Worth like hundreds of millions, yeah. Probably not hundreds of millions, but
I get what you're saying, like a lot of money.
He like knocked down 5 houses on a road in Carwood, and they're all like multi-million-pound houses just to build his house. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this
thing was ridiculous, mate. And the one we finished on was like 10,500 square foot, worth like 10, 12 million. Like, so he's like the top of his game in plastering.
Yeah.
Like, he was unbelievable. So he taught me, but I enjoyed it, but I just liked being on site. Do you know what I mean? I loved, like,
being busy,
being around the lads and like having a laugh, and like you don't have to think about what you're saying because someone's probably said something 10 times worse.
Yeah, them on site lads are a different breed, aren't they?
But and then I was doing that, and then COVID happened, so the site shut and everything. And I took a job with my dad at my dad's old job where he left last year. He was like really high up in a packaging company, so they supply food packaging to pretty much every supermarket you can think of, as to Tesco, Aldi, whatever. He couldn't really get any higher up in his position. He just absolutely smashed it and grafted his arse off for years to get there. But they took me on in a distribution site in Skem, so it's just like on the machines, really. You know, it's like taking the boxes off and like doing bits, and then end up doing the 40, because I used to work there since I was like 16, in between like college holidays and stuff like that, and IB from that. But then they offered me a full-time job, saying like, do you want to come on and do this and that, so I took it. Just because of COVID, really, because I knew I couldn't get back on the sites, and if I did, the work would be short, and like I didn't want to put strain on Stenny, because I knew he wouldn't want to let me down by saying, oh, I can't have you working today and stuff. So I just kind of took it, and it was a great opportunity for me. Like, they put how they would scale me up in the business, like a plan in front of me for a few years, and I was like, oof, be on some good dough here. But I just ended up not enjoying it. It wasn't me. Like, sat at a desk, and then not like dealing with people. I was good with people, but
No, but there's people and there's people.
Yeah, it just weren't me.
Two different things, mate. Yeah.
And then we had the second lockdown, didn't we? And I was still doing it, but I'd met a girl during lockdown. My ex ended up once again going. Just diving in again. You know what I mean?
Did you at least take 9 days?
No,
to say
it took a few
time?
weeks like this time.
Yeah.
No, she told me she loved me first.
Did
actually.
she?
Yeah, it took
right.
a few months actually. I went on holiday in Turkey and she told me she loved me, so obviously I had to say it back, but I did.
Obviously, I had to say it back. But you've got to like you're in that situation. Like, yeah, I love you as well.
Yeah, but we were pissed out already. It was like just as food came and surrounded by people. I thought could have chose a little bit of a more romantic
mate,
place.
It's never anything romantic.
I think it was just like verbal diarrhea for us. I love you.
Yeah, it's never anything romantic, mate. Ever.
But yeah, I ended up moving in with her. She lived by Stockton Heath, which is like
decent area as well.
Heath,
Decent area. My mate lives around there. Yeah, it's decent area, mate. Nice.
So moved in with her, and then anyways, we broke up end of November, and I obviously moved back home. And I was bored on a weekend, because we were still in and out of this stupid lockdown thing where you can have a pint, but you have a pint outside and all that shite. So I was dead bored, and I've always I had decent cars, and my dad's always cleaned our cars. You never go to the car wash or nothing, and I've always been into car cleaning. And I just bought loads of stuff like snow foam and I'm not going to get listing products, but all the important stuff I just put a thing on my Instagram, because obviously car washes were shut, and just I got a few little bites on my personal one, and was doing a few cars on a weekend alongside my other job, the full-time job, and ended up doing one of the Saints players' cars for free. He put it on his Instagram, and then I got a few more bites off that. I just thought, you know what, I may as well set up a business Instagram, an MJM Valets one. Set it up, and the first post to put on was a competition do your standard stuff, share this to your story, tag 2 people, like it, follow the page, put that on and shared it on my personal one, and within 24 hours I was fully booked for 6 or 7 weekends. I thought my phone went nuts, mate. I sat next to me dad and I was like, what is going on here? I get mad adrenaline rush, but I wasn't making money on it really. I was only charging 40, 50, 60 quid, you know what I mean, for full valets. It was just a bit of a thing to on the side.
Time kind of thing.
I was just getting mad busy, mate, and obviously the more cars I did, the more people would share it on their Instagram, the more people would message you, once again, the snowball effect. And obviously a massive bonus was that car washes were shut, so no one wanted to keep, not a lot of people clean their own car, and it just went off from there. But my dad said, obviously because I left a big job, if you're going into this, I needed to have some sort of backup. So I went back plastering 2-3 days a week. Just to keep him happy, really. I just didn't really want to do it, but I enjoyed it. Wow, that sounded dead ungrateful. Not I didn't want to. Do it. I enjoyed the job and stuff, but I really wanted the car business to work. And it just went off, mate. Just that was.
Did you expect it to be as what it is now?
No. It blows me away how busy I am. Fully booked now for you're looking 9 to 10 weeks for anything big. Obviously, I've got the advantage of having my dad with me. So he's got his own little thing going on as well. So
you're going to need someone else soon, though.
Yeah, don't get into this, mate. I've thought about it, but I just think I want to carry on for a year as I'm going now.
You just got to meet demand, haven't you?
But people are waiting, though. The thing is, because I've built up a good reputation, and obviously not I'm I am. I suppose I'm quite a popular.
Back yourself, lad. Say you're popular. You are
in this area. People know who I am for what I do.
That's the thing now. We all go, him. Yeah. We if anyone puts anything me, Mike, Nathan, everyone who gets the card off you, we all go, Matt, you'll do it, Matt, you'll do it. And it's just, you have took over, to be fair, you've done really well.
I'm not talking over.
No, I'd say you have, mate. Jesus Christ, I don't really see anyone else valeting as busy as you now.
No, there's a few in the area. It's quite a common thing, but obviously the reputation I've got, and it's also the people, it's just common saying, isn't it? It's not what you know, but who you know. But obviously, I do know what I'm doing. But I know a lot of people, and the people I know are right people to know. You just mentioned them, you know a lot of people. Mike knows everyone. Yeah. Nathan started it really, didn't he? Got me into you, and
then I went to then Mike come to me. So it's snowballed on.
It's not even just within the gym. With I do a lot of people in SCEM, and that started, the people that I do in SCEM, they were one of my first customers. The Wezzos, do you know them, all the Porsches?
The one who's got about 10 cars.
And
the nice cars as well.
Yeah, and they know a lot of people, they know a lot of business owners in SCEM, and
Yeah.
Every
It's who
area,
you know,
every
mate.
area. I mean, it's just been snowballed, and it's like.
It's who you know.
But it got to a point where I couldn't get people in, and I was like, because I had that many regulars, I'd have like 1 day a week where I could get new people in, and I'm like, this isn't how it should be. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So. My dad obviously quit his big job. My dad's been, well, probably over a year ago now. But he had like a lot of legalities in place with his contract because he was so senior. He
Couldn't go
work.
to anyone else for like
he
3 months.
Work for 6 months, that kind of stuff. But he was still getting paid his notice and all this. And he ended up making him really ill when he left. Like, because like I don't know why, but he was like very highly stressed with how everything finished and all that. So I don't know.
Didn't you say that he went back and was just like, this isn't for me anymore?
Yeah, so he got
left.
another job with another company. But obviously, within his contract with the other place, he couldn't work for 6 months, so he had to wait 6 months before he could go to that company. And he just didn't like it. I don't think it was against the company that he went to. The company that he went to were bigger than the one he was working for. They're like multi-billion-pound company, like ridiculously big. There's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with how busy he was. He just like because he'd had that break away from full-time work, which is the first time he'd had that length of period off work in like since his working life, 40 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he just thought, no, I don't want to do this
Yeah.
anymore. Like
he's just like, well, he's one of them, mate,
Yeah.
where he's gone from being like mega stressed out, constantly run down, doesn't get a minute with his family.
Yeah.
Then he has that, and then it's like, well, I don't want to fucking go away from that again.
And then he started doing like bits of garden, and then he was doing bits alongside me, like with me. You know, if we'd have like come and do yours, or we'd go to a business with 4 cars, we'd split the cars. He'd do the interior, I'd do the exterior, and then we'd swap kind of thing. And then it was one day he just said to me, "Do you think we should?" Because we had my old van. He said, "Do you think we should just go for it and just like buy everything?" And I was like, "Well,
why not?"
Yeah, why not? Like you know what you do, and I'm on the phone if you get stuck on something. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
because he'd worked alongside me, he'd built a relationship with the customers that he deals with now. So I've tried to give him his own set of customers, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't work like that every time. Things will change, but I've tried to
keep it regular.
let him build up a relationship with the people he's doing, and then he knows where he's going. He's comfortable. He knows the cars, this, that, and the other. No, it's not only cleaning cars, but
there's a lot more to it, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, because I was that busy, I just thought I need someone else. So took him on, and he's absolutely smashing.
He's doing well, isn't he?
Like,
he smashed it.
Every car he does, I get a message. He's better than you. Like, nice one, man. So
it's what you want.
But the business is flying, mate. I don't want to get complacent with it because I know if I start, people say to me like you just said, then, "Oh, you're smashing it, aren't you?" Or like mum or dad would be like, "You're doing really well. I'm proud of you." I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Because I know in my head, I know I'm doing well, but at the same time, I don't want to get complacent with it and take my foot off things. And
well, I've been there, mate, and it's dangerous. I was complacent last year, and it's like it's just not
easy to do though.
Yeah,
because you've got the stuff coming into you, like
you've got, don't want to sound like a prick, but fucking loads of money coming in, and it's
I'm not
just
earning
like
loads of money HMRC.
Just under 12 grand coming in every year. But no, you got loads of money coming in, and I did it, mate, last year, and I've never been in as good position. Well, obviously I'm in a better position now, but at the time, and mate was like, "How are you feeling?" I was like, fucking depressed, mate, because I'm just like, I'm not doing anything.
You need to make changes, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You can't sit still because. And I suppose that's where me and you are the same in that aspect, where you constantly think like, right, what's next? How can I upscale this? Or how do we add this in? And it's you can't sit still, mate. 'Cause you do get complacent, but there's no challenge. There's no like hardship to it at all.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like I'm at like, it's weird you said that. I'm at a point now where not like it's easy to me. Well, saying that, you know, everyone that goes, "Oh, being self-employed is dead hard."
It's not, mate.
Find it hard.
It's not.
I know some people will.
It's hard up being your own boss and earning money. Like
it's like. I work my arse off. I work 7 days a week, pretty much every week. And this time of year, I'll do 3 or 4 days a week where I'm 12, 13 hours. And I'm not saying I don't get tired, but just get on with it. Like, do you know what I mean?
And it's different working for yourself.
Yeah.
'Cause it's your own little baby.
It's all for me, isn't it?
Yeah,
some days, like, my phone will absolutely do me tits in, like, it doesn't stop. But then...
Like mine now, just dead. Yeah. I was like, leave it dead, just leave it off.
What a bad situation to be in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like...
Oh my God, all these people want to pay me. Like, what an issue I've got. It's like such a good problem to have.
Some people are just soft, aren't they? Like, this isn't aimed at anyone, but you see things on Instagram, "Oh my God, I've just worked 8 days in a row." I'm like,
well done.
Man up, like,
well done.
Like,
mate, it's, what was it? I said to someone the other day, I was trying to pay, I won't name him, I was trying to pay him for something. And I was like, I swear to God, you're allergic to making money. And he was like, what do you mean? I went, mate, I said, I've never had as much problem about trying to get someone to do something. Whereas like me, you, and there's other people as well. Like one of my best mates, Andy, he's the same, mate. And Andy Parr, like he's the same, mate, where he's got a good business head and like he's just on it. Like he's constantly thinking like what to do, and it's hard to look at other people. Like I don't want to fucking badmouth anyone here, mate, but I look at other PTs and I'm like, I'll run you the fuck over every day because like you aren't willing to do it. PTs now, a place are great, but I look at the PTs in other gyms and I'm like, oh, I'll run you over, no problem, because you don't try. You're not trying to do it. Whereas you probably look at other people that like they don't post much, they don't put out certain things, and you probably look at like.
But I probably don't use social media correctly, to be honest. I put pictures on and stuff, but like I don't push me content. Like you see some people putting stuff on, it's like, I think like, oh, we're the best about, we're giving themselves a name of detail, and I shouldn't say that, giving themselves a name of detailing and like, we're the best, no one's better than us, we do this, that, the other. I don't feel I need to do that. If your business is right, it'll promote itself. The best advertisement is word of mouth, and if you've got word, and it's free. If you've got word of mouth advertising, you're doing something right.
Word of mouth and just how good you are.
Yeah.
Like I said to Chris, I was just like, I'm probably shit at marketing, but I just upload the stuff that like I upload transformation pictures and I upload.
But that works, That's
like I don't give a shit how flashy your captions are.
Yeah.
If you can't change someone, you ain't going to get anything.
Yeah.
Whereas I just saw the picture going, this is where they looked not the best, and then this is where they look fucking great. People are going to go, oh, I'm going to go to him then. And if the same with you, like if you upload to like, this car was fucking minging, and now it's like, look at it, it's brand new. They're going, oh, I'm going to go to him then. And I'm probably shit at marketing as well, mate. Like,
but I used to probably worry about all that stuff. Like I used to like be obsessed with like how high my engagement was and how many likes on a post I was getting, and I'm like, now like my engagement is like the worst it's ever been, and I've like got the lead time of the busiest I've ever been.
Mate, I'm uploading stuff. I uploaded a story the other day. I uploaded a picture the other day, and it got like 30 odd likes. Which is shit for me. But mate, I've got clients out the door. So it's like, you don't pay your bills with likes, do you? Do you know what I mean?
And I used to like proper stress over like what caption to put on. Like I used to do my mum and dad's head, and I'd be like, does this sound right? And my dad's like, yes. Like, and then I'd change it and go, what about this? And I'm like, no, I'm not arsed.
You can overthink it.
I'll put a picture of a car and just put flipping, let's say, Audi RS7 maintained, and I'll just maybe sometimes explain underneath like what's gone into it, but
it doesn't need to be like,
I think like
you can overthink.
It really works for some people, obviously, than pushing. Yeah, it does. And like who's become like one of my very close mates, Sean, McCartney, that I do a lot of stuff with.
Follow him, that McCartney detailing balloting. I follow him.
Like, he's unbelievable, mate. Probably, in my eyes, probably one of the best in the country, and I'm lucky that he's become a very good mate of mine, and I invite him to do stuff for me, and he's invited me.
I thought you were related, mate.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah, we're not.
Well, you both got the same surname, so yeah. I thought you were related. I thought it was a family business.
It's a rare surname. I wish it was part of his family business, mate. But he's doing unbelievable. But what I was saying, he enjoys the content creation side of it, and like, so he pushes hard on Instagram. But that's because he doesn't have to think about it. It's just
him.
When you're around him, he's just so quick and sharp with things like that, and like, but it really works for him. He enjoys that side of it, whereas I necessarily don't really enjoy the social media side of it and the marketing and the So there's two different ways of doing your business, isn't there? But,
definitely, mate. But you're smashing it either way, aren't you?
Yeah,
at the moment,
doing well with myself now. Yeah, just keep on.
So what's next?
I knew you was going to ask this, and you proper put me on the spot.
It's probably the last thing I'm going to ask you before we wrap it up.
To be a drug dealer, mate.
Well, what we spoke about at the beginning, we're just going to flip it back round and then go from there again. Go back to
I think just going to continue as I am for 6 months to a year. I'm not like I've been a dick with the money I've been earning, but because I've been earning money, I've just like not thought about what I've been spending. So I have my mum and dad. And my mum and dad know everything I earn, everything I spend, which is no problem to me anymore because I don't need to hide anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is sad as a 30-year-old that your mum and dad control your money, but it helps me.
It's not.
Do you know what I mean?
Who's that professional? There's a few like pro athletes that do that. You know, do you watch football? No,
wrong shaped ball for me.
There's a player who plays for PSG, mate, called Hakimi.
Like, he's the one that's got divorced and like he's.
Yeah,
is that the one?
That's not the one I'm getting at though. But his mum it's the reason is because all of his money goes to his mum.
Yeah.
But like this isn't like news. He's done it for years, so like she controls everything.
Yeah.
But there was another football player that does it, and it's a fucking sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get like giddy and buy that.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad
It's
thing.
not
mate.
like I'm saying I was like buying like ridiculous things, but like just like even like little things like going to the pub, you just don't know what you just go and spend £100 on a Friday night without thinking about. And I know that's not a ridiculous amount of money, but you do that on a Friday, Saturday, weekend, week out. It's like £800 a month, isn't it?
Yeah, it adds up at the end of the
You know
year.
what I mean? And so yeah, like just trying to get a big chunk of money aside, and then maybe look at it, an investment opportunity, something else, because
like it.
You do need multiple incomes to.
Yeah, you do. 100%.
Like I'm doing well for myself now, and yeah, I'm living like a comfortable-ish life. Like I've not got a house or nothing, which is why I can live the life I'm living, like going on a few holidays and stuff. But doing all right, like, do you know what I mean? I don't really need to think.
Mate, look at where you were 5 years ago.
Yeah,
compared to today.
So I think it's just a case of just keep pushing as I am. Maybe consider the option of taking someone on because I've got enough work to take someone on. But then when you start taking people on and it like scaling up in staff members, I think that's when it does become stressful and the enjoyment.
Because then you're a manager then, aren't you?
Yeah, and then you've got responsibilities of paying people. Not like I don't have to pay me dad, but if someone cancels on me last minute, as harsh as this sounds, it's only me dad, innit? I could just like, he's with me all the time in the house. I could just say, oh, can you don't do this instead? Or he can go and do one of his own jobs like gardening or whatever. But I think when the responsibility's on you and people are relying on you for that wage, you can't.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah,
it becomes a bit more stress, mate. But
yeah, I'm not really one for like setting goals and like tick boxing and that. So maybe this is like flipping the conversation, like I said, but all these people, like, fair enough, it works for you, but you know, like the law of attraction and all that shit. I get it to some sense, but like that, like putting things into the.
No, mate, I'm big into manifestation.
Yeah, like I say, it does work for some people. Not like I'm like.
But I'm going to agree with you. I'm big into manifestation, but for the people, and I don't care who I attack here. If you sit on the couch and think about what you want,
I'm going to do that. Yeah,
you're fucking deluded, right? You've got to work. You've got to work at it.
Hours in, like,
Otherwise, you'd all just sit on the couch and I'll just think about £1 million quid.
I'll read The Secret again.
Yeah, I'll read The Secret. I'll read The Secret and think about an Aston Martin.
No disrespect, those people.
No, it's not. But like
people like Conor McGregor and stuff like that.
But like, if you manifest and work.
Yeah.
But it's not just like sitting there thinking about it, manifesting it, and going, right, well, that's me. I'll just sit down for yesterday. Like, you've got to go and do it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? As well.
And I get.
I'm with you.
I get like the goal setting to an extent as well, but at the same time, the way the biz, like even in the last 3 months, the way it's scaled up, I'm like, I can't set goal. I don't know how to put what I want to do on paper because I'm like, I set myself a little goal last year. I got all like New Year, not New Year, New Me, but you know, you get motivated on New Year's Day, and I was like, write some bits down, and then I found that diary the other day, and I'd hit every single one of them without even like working towards it. And I set myself a like one was to take my dad on by 2025, and I've done it like
2 years earlier.
Last year, like, without even like realising and like what I wanted to earn a week, and I've done that.
Things are going well, mate.
Free, like, so
things are going extremely well for you.
It's good, so I've just got to keep pushing as I am. So.
Well, thanks for doing this anyway.
Yeah, no problem. I was shitting it.
I was about to say, have you found it?
Like, sounds just having a chat with me, mate, Jamie.
That's it, having a chat with me.
Yeah.
That's all it is, mate. But no, you smashed it there.
Thank you for having me, mate.
At first, I thought, when I first seen you downstairs, I thought he looks a bit nervous here.
I was, mate, to be fair. That's one of like my weaknesses. People can tell when I'm nervous.
Yeah, I could see it. And then I was like, you'll be all right. It's just a chat, innit?
Yeah, it's just
told
a
you,
chat.
Fine, lad. But no, I appreciate you coming on doing it anyway.
Thank you very much.
Right, we'll leave it there.